hi, welcome to House of Enneagram. And we're a new cast of characters on a podcast that will be talking about things, different things in culture, in philosophy, in, psychology, and how it relates to the Enneagram. And because we all are of such different typings, we offer very different perspectives on, maybe the same topic or different topics or whatever. So today we're talking about White Lotus.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so the White Lotus, I think the first season was in 2021, and I loved the show from when I first watched it, and I noticed that it was a show that had a social sexual undertone, and I really enjoyed that being my stacking. And so we typed the creator, Mike White. If you haven't seen, if you don't know what Enneagrammer is, go to enneagrammer.com, and you can watch our typing of Mike White. But he's a 692 social sexual. And this third season just ended, and it's really fantastic. And there's so many characters, so there's just so much to talk about with relation to the Enneagram in terms of their typings and the themes of the show, and how a show can be kind of like a stacking, but the characters themselves can have different stackings and different typings and how they all interact. So that's what we want to do today.
What do you guys think? I watched the finale again last night, and really nothing new came out of it from the first watch, but I want to know what you guys thought of it. I guess just the season as a whole, but the finale in particular.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I thought this season overall was a little bit ambitious in terms of how many stories they were trying to tell, and apparently they cut so much stuff out, and that's like a shame because they cut out stuff like Piper having sex with Zion that is like really important. But yeah, well, she was supposed to, I'm going on a tangent, but just to say about the finale, because this whole thing of Saxon and Lachlan both being like, have you had sex before? And her being like, don't touch. I mean, that was supposed to be part of her finding God. Everybody was finding their gods in the last episode, right? The spirituality. So she was supposed to find it in Zion, and then they didn't. Her story still made sense, but then it weird because they set up this virginal thing at the beginning. And it's supposed to be a flip where she finds her God in sex and Saxon like doesn't, and he finds spirituality. Okay, it just would have made sense, but they cut it. Good. So
that's good,
right? Yeah. So
that's
it's like
interesting.
So there's so much stuff that got cut out, and there's so much dialogue between the three friends, for example, that was probably subtle that got cut out. That, I mean, that's my only problem with this season. Otherwise, like the finale was extremely exciting and tense. And I thought like the finale of season 2 was a little bit like limp. And this one, I was just like for 90 minutes, I was like, oh my God. I thought it was great. Yeah, it was very stressful.
I thought it was great too. It was like, the second to last episode, I was like, all right, how are they going to tie all of these things together? Yeah. And I wasn't really disappointed. I thought that maybe I'd get a little disappointed, but it was really, I think, beautifully put together at the end.
It was.
Yeah, I thought so too. Yeah, I thought so too. Yeah, I've seen a lot of discourse on what the theme of the overall season was, because I've seen like religion and spirituality and ideology, right, about finding the thing that you like believe in. That was Lori's whole monologue towards the end, where she's like, I thought I believed in work and motherhood and love, and now I believe in time. I personally saw like a Christianity versus Buddhism thing, and like Christianity clearly won, and there's something around that, like I don't know. There's some kind of commentary, but some people thought it was people's relationships to leaving their own values in pursuit of what they think is better, right? Like Guy Talk abandoning his morals in order to get the girl.
For that boring
people's
bitch
relationships to violence. Yeah. People's relationships to violence. Though I guess that one didn't track for me. But anyway.
The thing with Mike White, I mean, just we've typed him as social sexual 692. So there's a whole thing with maybe just, I guess, double attachment up front. But like he kind of seems to, even with self-pres blind, he goes to a place and kind of like does a social sexual read of like, what's the thing about this place that say Westerners see? And so for Thailand, it's really like people go there for like debauchery. Either they go there for like, again, finding some kind of spiritual thing that they're not getting in the West, or to like, they kept making jokes about ladyboys and sex and debauchery, and people go there to get crazy. So it felt like everybody was doing that, but then actually flipping and finding like the opposite in some way.
That's good.
And so like their gods that they were looking for were these like, Sam, this character who was like on a sober path and then just completely fell off the wagon again. And, you know, Rick, who was like, I'm going to finally heal myself. And he's going to this spiritual master and he thinks that he can heal himself by, you know, killing this man
just
who
bypassing.
Right. Exactly.
Rick. Okay.
Yeah. So it's all, I thought that's what I was getting from it, that like people are going, because that's what happened in the Hawaii season. People were going and it was colonized land. People are going to enjoy this beautiful landscape and to basically pillage it. They don't care. In Italy, people are going to like find romance and beauty and their homeland. And they ended up, you know, being swallowed by Italy. And here it's like people are going to get this dangerous Thai experience, but like the resort was like eating them. The monkeys and the crackling, everything was just kind of like actually hurting them. So yeah, that was my...
That's also like very Six, because of it's so split. It's like I'm gonna like think it's this end of the polarity, but it like throws me into the opposite end of the polarity.
Yeah exactly.
That's so good.
I also got like a read on like the instinctual, like this one felt like more instinctual, kind of like what you're saying too. I think like it's in Thailand, so it's like there is like a wildness to it that I think as opposed to like Christianity and like
the uncivilized Eastern
it's like in touch with some kind of animalistic instinct, and I thought that was like really apparent in a lot of the imagery, and like even the episode I think wasn't an episode title like Killer Instincts and like stuff like that. I feel like that was an interesting way that he started to explore in this season too.
Yeah, that's good. Should we talk about the stacking of the show? Joseph, you typed the entire show social sexual.
Yeah, I mean, so
like
when
that would be good to flesh out for people.
Sure. I mean, when I watched the show, I mean, I watched it whatever in 2021 when it came out, and I'm always on if I see a show that is like has sexual, I'm always like, but this one was so clearly social sexual, and it's like it's apparent in every season. There's this thing that's happening that's some thoughts, like it's very synflow and social, because it's really just like the master of this. People are like, it's slow, and it's kind of like a self-pres comment to say it's slow. It's just about the shit that people are saying to each other and all the little interactions on the way. It's so not even, there are larger themes, but it's like, no, we're watching these three women just like, you're just kind of like, what's she gonna say next?
Just
it's this
tension,
you know,
totally
tension. And the second thing is that it's that sexual, especially sexual middle thing of just this like people show up with this kind of self-pres social stability, and the resort just cracks them slowly, just you know what I mean? By the end of season 1, Armand is like a druggie who shits in someone's suitcase and he's like happy that he's dying. He's like, I don't care, this is my little death, I'm done. You know what I mean? So everybody descends slowly, has their life, the cracks just ripped open. And that's, to me, because it's not like a full-on, it's not like a sexual dom show. It's just this under the surface, like everything looks nice and social, but you're right. And you know, the episode in this season, to me, that was like the most crazy social sexual was the episode it was like episode 5, just this like orgy party. It was just kind of like everything's just like falling, swirling, mixing, breaking, and all of a sudden, and you have this like, it looks like a social sexual collage. It was just like fireworks, music, banging, people banging, everything just kind of like slowly, because the social sexual in this like synflow stacking is like the party, right? Self-pres social is like, hey, we built life. Social sexual is like, can we start undoing ourselves? And then sexual self-pres is like the actual whatever it is, like the transformation, right? And this show just feels like it's always on the verge of that transformation. It's just sitting in that area.
Yeah, that's so good. I don't even have anything to say after that. That was perfect.
Okay, now we're done.
Well, I wrote a character list.
Well, I'll say before that, my impression of the show is always like, when I first watched the first season, I think by the end of like the third season, I was like, I still don't know what's happening, but I'm so engaged and I'm so interested and I can't stop watching now. Like I'm like hooked all the way to the end. And every season since then has been that, where you get really hooked on people's like really subtle ways of communicating. Like I remember in season 2, there was just the scene where Audrey Plaza's character calls that hot guy. She just goes like, "You idiot," and everyone has a reaction to that, and you completely know like, oh, they did they fuck? Like,
yeah. It's just like, it's just sin flow social. You don't
how
really
did she
know
get
what's
so
going
comfortable
on.
saying that?
Yeah.
Like, there's so much analysis to come
yeah.
out. And I've seen a lot of discourse saying that like the 3 women on season 3 was just like a plot line that should have been thrown away. And sure, maybe it could have been fleshed out more, but it was such a good
I don't know if anybody gay said that.
Of like it was such a good display of like just like of friendships, you know, like of people that have lasted for so long. It's so honest. Yeah.
I wanted more of it. Like my only problem was that it was too slow. I was like, I want more. I don't give a shit about fucking guy talk. You know what I mean? I like just kill him or don't kill him. I don't get, you know, this girl, she wants you to be a killer.
Move
like
sucks, who cares?
Yeah, we get it. She's famous. No one cares. Like, I don't know.
That one, I feel like that was like the most irritating interaction out of the entire season. I'm like, oh, this guy.
And her acting, like,
girl.
Both of them were annoying.
She'd be like, oh, you didn't get the promotion? Okay, I'm going now. I'm like, this isn't like.
Well, I saw did you have them type as like 2 9s too? As like,
oh yeah.
They were just very sort of like,
how could there be anything
2 Bermuda 9s. Yeah.
From their own connection with each other. I'm like,
they didn't have chemistry. Like
nothing.
Yeah, he was sweet. I just felt like it should have been more a sub
to each other.
Yeah, exactly. They just decided there was nothing. She literally doesn't like she's just like some guy that she's like, yeah, I guess like you can be with me if you kill someone.
Yeah,
we'll see. Like that was the whole plot.
Kill someone and be rich. Get me out of Thailand. Other than that, like
I don't know.
Have you killed someone yet? With her like big huge eyes. Oh no. Okay. Well, I guess we're not going to go on a date because my mom's back hurts. So.
And if we do go, if we do go on a date, we're gonna watch people fucking fight.
Yeah.
Like we're gonna watch people just to show you what I need. Like,
yeah. Okay. Let me pull up your list.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, so I kind of sort of organize them by like their little grouping. So I mean, the family. And I mean, whatever. I'm like open on these. I did this really quickly, but the family to me was a Bermuda family, with the exception of Miss Victoria.
She's amazing.
Yes.
Yeah, she was. And then so it's sort of clear that she was the one that wasn't Bermuda. She's just an entertainment machine. And Jason Isaacs, we just typed him. I think this will release after that, but we just typed him, and the actor is not a Bermuda. He's a 7.
Wow.
Yeah, I know, and like what Lucius Malfoy wasn't a 7 either, so he's an actor.
Can't believe that's the same guy.
I know, right? Yeah, because he's like that's like a 1.
Oh my god! That was
you just realized
the whole time. I just realized that
it's Lucius.
Yeah, hang on, let me show you how funny this is.
Oh my god! Yeah, with the long blonde hair, the platinum.
Yeah.
Oh my god! Stop.
Yeah. And Lucius is like he's like a 1 wing 9 with a 6 fix or something really not 7.
Really
Yeah.
Oh wow, what a range of characters.
He's good. He's good. But I thought like, so just to say, because Tim is kind of one of the central figures, even though the whole time all he was doing is like thinking about. I just wanted him to fucking kill himself at some point. Just kill your family. Shoot them all in the fucking face. I'm tired of seeing. How many pills do you have? How many lorazepam did she fucking bring? We saw him pop like a fucking 40 of them a day. But he seemed like his story was very much like an attachment story, where he was like feeling the burden of taking care of his entire family and like being this patriarch, and feeling like because he failed. It's very 963 to me. Because he failed them, it's like he had to kill them. He couldn't just, you know, he couldn't just, because he was like testing them. He's like, so like, if I didn't give you money, would you be okay? And they were like, no. And he was like, well, I guess I have to kill you. I have to kill you. Because you know what I mean? Like he couldn't live. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
My failure. Yeah. So that's, and then there's a 3 fix in there, the 3/6 worker bee in there. And just this 9 wing 8 kind of like taking on the burden of this entire dynasty that he's created.
That's really good. Yeah, that's good to flesh him out as a 9-wing 8, but I assume 8-wing, right?
As
opposed to like a 3 or something, because he's like this hardworking finance guy. Because
No.
the camera pans. First of all, he's zonked out on drugs the entire time, just wanting to just like block out anything that impacts him the entire time. Precisely. He's just like, no, nothing. Yeah. I don't care about the phones being taken away. Actually, take away all the phones away. Throw the phones away. Eat the phones. I don't care. They just nothing can affect me right now. And then every time the camera pans over to him, his character, that actor is just so good with his one facial expression, because every time it panned over and he's just like, I don't know, I can't even do it, but his face is just so good. It made me laugh every single time. Like, I know this man's considering murder suicide, but man, I love that face. It's so good.
Well, I think that's
8 hours of it.
Was like I kind of found that a really interesting tension, like, just because there's all different kinds of tensions that he makes in this show, and that was just, I feel like, one that hasn't been explored in the other seasons, like just the the total destruction of his family system, that like it was prolonged, but like at the same time it made it that much more fascinating. Like, I don't know, just spending time in that really uncomfortable area in this character for this whole time. It's like, oh my God, like a type of tension I didn't realize I could access and watching this part.
There's something else that's like kind of funny 9-ness about this, is that there was like no consideration up until the very end. There was like no consideration about just like getting his family through the hard thing, right? It was just immediately like, oh no, I have to go into action. No, I'd rather not. I'm just going to swallow them all up.
That's
instead.
right. That's right.
Wow, like if we can't just continue chilling in wealth, that's right. I'm just going to lose it all.
His journey at the end is he's like, perhaps we can actually move forward through this and I don't have to kill everyone. Like, thanks.
Maybe
thank
there's
you,
something
9.
we can do.
Maybe there's action that can be taken.
And it is funny that it happened just like after the son basically died, right? He accidentally kills his son. That has like some spiritual effect on him.
That was good. I love that part.
Beautiful.
Lewis actually pointed out that there was probably some symbolism about like, who's the young one? What's his name again? I was confused.
Lachlan.
Okay, the young one is Lachlan.
Around the lake, Lachlan, he drowns in the water.
Ooh, but around him symbolizing like this like Christ figure that died for the sins of his father and for his family.
Right.
I thought that was pretty fucking cool.
I didn't even think of that.
Yeah.
So him like being the faith, right? He's the God that Tim ended up like living for and like moving his family forward for.
Whoa.
And can we talk about Lachlan then too? Because his character is fucking weird, right? He's clearly a 9, wing 9, wing 9, wing 9. His instincts are 9 and 9.
9,
he's
9,
only 9.
He is a classic Hidden Spring 9.
Oh man, he's just nothing of his own.
Nothing. Yeah, that's right. It's another good Bermuda story 9 there. Just like having absolutely no idea, needing to be. Like, just again, the search for gods, right? Because he's like, which one of my siblings is my god? And then at the end he dies, and he's like, I think I saw a real god, or whatever that is. He finds a new god, right, in death, just like Jesus. But it's he just can't, like, he has such little sense of self that we don't know who he is all the way up to the end of this, right? He's just this guy who is like, whatever my brother wants, I will provide. And whatever my sister, whatever, anything. Such incredible multitasking.
If I feel like he wants it, I'll be happily give it to him.
And then, with his sister, just like, I'm going to stay with you here. Just having literally no idea what he's doing, or just completely immersing himself. And even says, I'm in a family full of narcissists, which is true, but he also doesn't exist. So it's like double problem for him,
Oh God, there was something around. Okay, so what is Saxon then? He's a 3.
So Saxon,
right? Okay,
I got him as 3, and did I put him as Bermuda?
Perfect.
I should have.
Yeah,
I think I meant to put him as a DJ, but
DJ could work.
Yeah. I'm not trying to. I think that was just an error, but I mean, I guess Bermuda's possible.
They're both possible. But,
they
whatever.
are
The point
possible.
is, he's a 3.
Yeah, he's a 3 wing too. Yeah.
That was pretty clear. Lachlan's relationship to Saxon, obviously we see like the kind of weird tension in that in the beginning. There was something interesting about, like, I don't know, I was thinking something earlier. There's something interesting about Lachlan as a 9 versus Saxon as a 3. Saxon's a 3, right? I always confuse them. That Saxon from the beginning is like, he's like high on his own supply, just trying to like coach Lachlan into manhood, into like this, right? The older one is trying to extend his like field of influence and include his brother. But Lachlan being a 9, you know how 9s sometimes they just like refuse to be influenced. They're just like kind of staying in their own little field of la la land. So there is something interesting around like Lachlan interpreting all of that influence as oh my God, I can't do it. Okay, let's see. The younger one interpreting the 3's, all of his coaching as like, oh, this is actually what he wants. He's not trying to influence me. He's telling me what he wants. And then it all comes out in the party.
Right.
Where he's like, right? He takes that that thing on of just like, oh, my older brother loves to get laid and loves to get off and loves to whatever. He's not taking that on as like, oh, as a man, I need to also want this. He takes it on as like, oh, this is what he wants. This is what will make us closer.
Us close. Yeah. He's not embodying it. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and they had that comment like of him, being the giver, the people pleaser, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Also, how funny is that like 3-ish comment around like, it's okay to worship me, but like, don't like worship me.
Yeah.
What a narcissistic comment in that.
So 3.
Just like, you can worship me. It's like, that's like totally natural and normal and fine. And like, I'd like that, but like, don't like worship me.
There's like a line. Yeah.
There's a line.
The 3,
to my adoration.
That like 3 moment with Saxon was great, where he just goes to his dad and he's like, because he's losing himself, and he's just like, this is all I am. Yeah. If I don't have this, and again, it's 3, it's assertive attachment. So he's kind of doing something similar. He's like, I attach myself to you. If you're detaching from me, I'm nothing. I don't have anything else. I have no personality. Yeah. And he finds this like love in Chelsea, who I guess we can go there, is a 7 to me, and is she's a very easygoing 7. She's like a DJ 7 or whatever, but she's really very hack-satty in the sense that she's like, I'm not going to sleep with you. I know what I want. I know what I'm not attaching to anything. Here are my books. You can read them. Yeah. You know what I mean? And he's just like, okay. Like, he's like, well, my dad's not, there's something wrong with my dad. And I'm nothing. And this girl that I like sees that I'm nothing. So I'm going to try to, he's still kind of doing something similar to what Lachlan's doing by being like, okay, let me just read her books and see if there's anything here. But then, she's still in love with Rick, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I do love this storyline, of him starting off as this just like vapid, superficial fuckhead, right? And by the end, he's like read spiritual books and is like sad to see this girl that is actually not interested, right? She's not just like this cheap validation source. A girl that's actually not interested, fall in love with this guy that doesn't give a fuck about her. Let's talk about, should we talk about Chelsea and Rick? Because I have energy around that
line.
Rick doesn't care about her.
Rick
hates Chelsea.
That was enraging. That was kind of like, what?
It's a good story. I mean, I found it really. I found it really. I don't like Rick, but it's a good story moment, because she says at the end, it's almost a little bit too on the nose for me, but like, it's a good line where she's like, stop focusing on the love that you lost and focus on the love that you have right here. Yeah. And he like has a moment where he tries to, but then he just can't help himself, and he ends up destroying the 2 people that might have actually. Well, he chose his own father. That was already that he was fighting for. So he was fighting for nothing. Yeah. And then he ends up destroying this woman. And in that moment, again, we can empathize because it's TV, not because we like this man. But like, you do feel bad for him, because you're like, he realizes that he did destroy the thing he loves, and he like has this Ophelia moment in the water where he like dies.
Right. Yeah, I got that too. I picked that up too. Yeah, that was good. I had gone back and forth as to whether Chelsea was a 7 or a 9, wing 8 or something, because she is like pretty chill, but she is pretty unyielding in her optimism and her positivity. And I think like in an attachment, she would have felt more anxious in her relationship to Rick, who clearly just like, is just completely taking her
didn't give a fuck better.
Just doesn't care. Okay, Rick. Okay, I mean, I thought he was a 9 too. I've seen people say that he's a 6 wing 5. I thought very clearly 9 at the beginning.
Yeah, I think I don't know what I wrote here, but I think 6 wing 5 fix makes sense. And then maybe 3, I don't remember what I wrote. But but I think, I mean, just overall, he just wasn't a reactive type, even though, because this was like, he was years and years of planning this thing. And you know, the moment where he does something truly reactive is in a moment of extreme, like, you know, it's like when nines really get mad. It was rage. It wasn't like some wild reactivity that even 6 and 5s who are calm, they just pop off. You know what I mean? It's like, no, this is a guy that like barely, like Chelsea would just be like, whatever. He'd just be like, whatever. He just, it's like he did the 9 thing of being like, I literally don't even hear or see you. I don't care. Like 9 wing 8, you don't exist. It's like not, you know?
Yeah.
And it's the grumpy and stubborn thing. Like, you know, 6s, they can be stubborn in their own way, but like it's almost like an annoying kind of stubborn because they're just like throwing things at you. Whereas 9's type of stubborn is like, oh, you're like not gonna move. Like that's really
9 wing 8's just a rock. Like you're not getting them.
Yeah.
He just sat there. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Just sat there annoyed while doing kind of nothing about it also.
That's it.
Yeah. What'd you guys think about Rixel's storyline with the snakes? What the fuck was that about? I think so.
That's interesting because I think
on
that was a 9 story to me, because to me it was like he feels like a caged animal that can't get angry, and so he was releasing the snake representing like the evil or the whatever, the rage, and just, you know, and of course it was an omen because one of them bit Chelsea, and it was just like your inner rage is going to kill her, end up killing her, right? But like, yeah, it just felt like he was like, again, it's not 6, it felt like this 9 story where he's just like, I've waited too long, I should have my hands around his throat, like it's, you know what I mean? And it's like he was trying to unleash, and then the same metaphor applied to Guy Talk and Tim, who was like trying to figure out if he could use the gun or not or whatever. It's just like, should I let this beast out or not?
Yeah, that's what I got from like the whole bringing in the instincts and like spirituality, because I'm also really curious like how much like spiritual symbolism they were bringing in. They brought in dream interpretation, they brought in the Enneagram, they brought in astrology. Like they're bringing all of these like intuitive, like systems, mind of God kind of things, but with like in contrast or in relationship with like the animal instincts. And so that's what, like, I mean, that whole scene with Rick and the snakes like reminded me of just like what actually, like, what kind of narrative, spiritual narrative, symbolic narrative, whatever is happening when you are in relationship to some kind of like animal instinct. And that whole like, my instincts are caged, even though I don't actually know what they're capable of. I don't know what they actually want, because he has this vague idea of his father, and like it turns out it's not even the truth that this guy that he just killed is his father. So it's like this vague also narrative. 9-ish. Very like propelling someone's whole like libido, like their whole energy is being propelled towards a narrative that they're not even in connection with, but has some kind of like religious spiritual like awakening inside of it.
Yeah, that's good. That's really good.
And the similar thing happens with the 3 women when they go to Bangkok or wherever they were, and their people are attacking them with water guns. It's sort of like I mean, their thing isn't so much about violence, but it's like acknowledging
like an interrelational tension.
Yeah, an interrelational. Yeah, right. Like the nudity that they're not showing each other. Yeah, and when you get sprayed with water, you get wet, and your clothes are stuck to your body, and it's humiliating. Yeah. And they felt very humiliated by it, and they were together, but they just felt really ashamed and embarrassed. And it was just this again, like
through it. Yeah.
Couldn't connect. Yeah, right. Exactly. They weren't like, oh, girls, like let's go. Like they were just like, you know. And so then it's this kind of like, again, Thailand doing this violent thing. Unlocking some kind of rage, because then eventually, right, the rage comes out. Like Lori freaks out, and what's her name has sex with that guy. It's not necessarily rage, but it's the animal inside, you know.
Yeah. And it's just it's the tension coming out. Yeah, it's the expression of it coming out, I guess. Yeah, there was something else I was going to say about Rick being a 9-wing 8, right, and attaching to this, like he has this whole victim story that surrounds his father, right? So there's an attachment figure in that, and that being like the thing that needs to be like remedied, or what's the word I'm looking for, avenged or something. So he has this attachment to a father, rectified, this attachment, this like long lasting attachment story, to the point where he can't individuate away from that to, again, cliche, but like see the love he has in front of him rather than the love he didn't get from his own father, and then this like refusal to individuate away from your dad, who like sucked at the very end of it anyway, ended up like killing your whole life, right? And killing the future you could have had.
It's also very nine-ish we've kind of talked about it a bit on other episodes with this, like when nines victimize themselves, like they get into this narrative of like nothing in my life has been my choice.
Right.
And like it's like complete lack of autonomy.
Correct.
You know, like it's you know, I didn't choose any of this. And meanwhile it's like so obvious that you've chosen like even to the point of choosing to go find this guy in Thailand to kill because you have had no choice or autonomy in your entire life, right?
Right.
So
and
it's like
he says that throughout the show of just like my whole life was taken away from me.
And
he killed my father.
That's why I feel like he can't see like Chelsea's significance, because if he's not even thinking he has had any autonomy in his entire life, then like how could someone that he actually did choose mean anything, you know?
Totally. Yeah.
And he has there's oh sorry, I was just gonna quickly there's a Bermuda thing that happens for me in the final episode where he runs up to whatever her name is, the counselor, and he's like, she's just like, you have to talk me out of this.
Oh my
you
God.
have to calm me down, because otherwise I have no choice. You know what I mean? Like just I'm you know, and then she's like, no, you're gonna wait an hour, and then he's just like,
I'm gonna kill everyone.
I'm gonna kill some. You made me do it.
If you had just given me that session, it's such a dude thing too. Like, you know, this woman who I'm projecting my mother onto didn't talk me out of it, so I had no choice. You know,
100%. Yeah. Okay. What's funny is I've seen people's reactions online being like, the real villain of this season was that therapist who didn't take on Rick. Like, give me a fucking break. She was
that's an incel comment.
There's the collective
That's
shadow.
Such a bitch thing to say. Okay, so let's see. Moving on. I was going to Chelsea again. So 7-9, obvious. I kind of lean towards thinking that she's a 2 fixer, towards like, I mean, maybe not, whatever. DJ could work too, but
it's one of those.
What her story is clearly this just like, what, like, I don't know, there's an argument to be said that there is like a hopefulness without discernment, or without like seeing whether or not that hopefulness is being reciprocated, because eventually she just like died in vain of this like hopefulness that she was holding out for, right? She's like not really seeing Rick in his full capacity. Well, not in his full capacity, but she's not seeing Rick in his inability to reciprocate to her, and eventually like dies for him. You know, for no reason.
Yeah, the more I think about it, I'm leaning DJ for her because, well, I mean, I think the actor's a DJ, but she just is blanker than you'd expect a 7 to be. She's not actually doing the 2 thing of being like, you know, I really know how to take care of you. Like she's being nice, but she's like 2 is like more assertive, more controlling. And she just kind of seems to be like, yeah, like I love him. He's my baby. He's my child. Like it sounds 2-ish, but the energy behind it felt like attachment,
more
not
competent,
or something. I don't know. I mean, it
like
could be
that,
either, but
Oh, Chelsea. We loved her.
Let's talk about
she
Chloe.
Pissed me off the whole time. Okay, let's move on to Chloe.
Because Chloe, that's a DJ.
Interesting.
That's a DJ.
She's a DJ for sure. Right,
and different overlay. Like I'd put her 3-wing 2, 9-wing 8, 7-wing 6. Probably,
Chloe, Chloe. Her in that pink outfit was like,
yes.
Need that.
She's and she could be, if there's any character that's not self-pres social, it's probably her. She might be like a social sexual character. It's like a possibility. But I don't know. She might just be a 7.
Sure.
But she was interesting just because she was kind of the classic slightly sociopathic 7 that like just literally did not care about anything. Like the most grotesque stuff would happen to her, and she'd be like, so there's this thing, and
oh my god,
and you're just kind of like, like even Saxon was just like, oh my god, like, no, I'm not doing that, and she's just like, oh, you're not like having fun with me, like we're just supposed to have fun, you know, like.
Yeah, like this isn't serious psychological, you know, digging we need to do here. We just have to do this.
We just have to do it, and it's fine, like, you know.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah,
Chloe.
Chloe, she I don't know, she was also just in like a double narcissistic relationship or whatever. She probably has some of those tendencies herself. Otherwise, how could she have been with Gary this whole time? They obviously don't love each other. They're just like in some mutually beneficial dynamic where he gets to never mind.
yeah.
Just
She's playing his games and
yeah, I didn't really know, like, she didn't have too, I guess, tense of a story. Like, I feel like her character out of a lot of them too was just kind of like there for some sort of sparkle, for some sort of like addition to or connecting point or something, because she started to connect other characters to everyone else and stuff like that. Yeah, she didn't have like too much of her own. Like in the end, you know, they were kind of just still doing their own thing. They kind of didn't have much like airtime at the end.
Yeah, I think that's why I found her interesting, because she wasn't looking for a god. Like she was empty.
Oh, good.
She was empty.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because like Chelsea looks at Saxon and says, "You're empty," but it's like in reality he isn't empty, and he had the capacity to search for other things. But like Chloe was empty.
She was
like
you
know what I mean? And so it was an interesting contrast, because everybody that came into contact with her was just kind of like, I'm not getting what I'm looking for here, you know? Except Gary, but Gary had his own, I guess, emptiness.
Yeah, she was good in Saxon's, that's the older one, in Saxon's storyline also, just because like Saxon kind of beelines for her at the beginning. It was just like, oh, this is like an available person I can flirt with. Right. And by the end, in the last scene where he apologizes to her for not being willing to do that, she's like, whatever, it's fine. I can just find someone else. It'll be easy.
Yeah.
And he has
It'll
a reaction to that. And he has a reaction to that, because at the beginning of the season, he's like, it's a numbers game, whatever, you know, like me and my dick is just like everywhere. And then by the end of it, he's like, oh, you know, he's like a little pearl clutched by just like, no, you can't treat people like that. Like people are just expendable
that's
people.
interesting.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, so she kind of represents this like starting place that he was at. When he's like got in contact with his heart more, you know, that's like what Chelsea did for him, is he turned him in from an MT3 to like more heartful.
That's right. Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
Okay. Who else have we not talked about?
I like didn't care about the cast.
The three girls?
Not the cast. The staff is what I meant.
Oh, the staff? Yeah.
I'm like, what? We're just...
Sritala and Fabian. I mean, they're nines. I don't know. I don't care. They're not interesting. Yeah.
Didn't care. Pam, is Pam the woman whose her whole thing was just like
the Australian?
Phones?
Yeah. I mean, she was just funny.
Being literally your
funny
whole character.
Six. Yeah.
Your entire character.
Oh, and like, the suicide thing too.
Yeah,
she was the one who told them about.
I mean, I liked her. She was light. Yeah, it was. Yeah. You know, I guess the three women.
The Russians.
Three women. Oh, the Russians. Right. Yeah, I only typed Valentine, but the other ones are, I don't know. Valentine is a 9-wing 8.
They're probably all DJs. Yeah,
yeah. All DJs. There's not really much to say there. Yeah, but I thought the three women were interesting because there's 2 9s and 1 6, and it was really obvious which one of them was the 6 reactive type, right? Yes, like you have 2 9s that are just kind of
screaming at the end of the first season or episode.
You know, yeah. It's 2 9. I think they're both 9 6 2 as well. I think Jacqueline was a 9-wing 8, and what's her name was a 9-wing 1, the independent. And even that was like apparent as well, because Jacqueline is kind of like this 9-wing 8 diva superstar that's like quiet, and Kate was just this like slightly anxious, like, I don't want to step on anyone's toes. Yeah. I'm independent. I don't, you know, I'm not like, we're all just fine. Right. And then Lori was probably Bermuda, but like she was the 6 that was just like, yeah, I am tired of pretending that everything's fine. You know?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and she's the one that, actively reacting against things. She had a bit more of like she did, comparatively to the other two, have a bit more of like a victim complex, and then eventually kind of overcame that with more gratitude or whatever. So that's her line to 6 or whatever, or her line to 9.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, let's see. What else is there to say around this? It's
Belinda?
Just... Oh, right.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Belinda, I mean, whatever, she's a 6. I can't, every scene with Belinda, like this is the whole season. This is Belinda, like, like just that was all every.
Nailed it and cut.
Yeah, with just the most beautifully like cherub-esque rounded
yeah, with her beautiful outfits,
beautiful face. Yeah.
She'd just be like sitting there, like, I don't know, giving a massage, and she'd be like, and you're like, what? What?
That was like her whole face through the scene where they're making the deal, like with Gary or whoever. Like that just times 1,000 during that because of how nervous she was.
Yeah, she was good. Okay, so her storyline is, whatever. She ends up becoming a Tanya from season 1.
Right. Yeah. That was
she
a good moment.
She gets her bag and pieces out and gives up on her.
So that's another thing about cutting is it felt like there must have been more about the business that they were planning that they cut out, because literally they just had like one vague conversation about it. So then this moment where she like drops him, he seemed really upset, and I was just like, they didn't even talk about it. So it was like they must have cut that out, and I'm just like, this was a big moment for Belinda, who, like her or not, she's one of the bigger characters because she's been there since season 1. So we want to see and she just got rich. But it's just like, I was just like, I don't know, why did they leave that? Like, literally just delete Mook, delete Guy Talk, and then just like make more time, you know,
for Belinda,
delete Fabian, Srital, I don't give a shit.
I did feel like,
No, you go.
I was gonna say, it did feel like there was something like more that should have been in that, because it's like, for that much money, and then to have like kind of a relationship with this person on the island, and you're gonna start a business with them apparently, like it felt like, oh, why is this like so easy for her to leave behind when apparently we had to have like a lot of emotional investment in their like relationship. That was a bit kind of like, exactly. I didn't feel as much as I feel like I maybe should have, or something, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
There's like little hints in there, I guess. Like, I remember one of the first few episodes or whatever, her and Porn Chai like are walking into his room or something like that, and there's that little dragon thing, that like lizard thing that she gets all freaked out by.
I thought you didn't remember Saxon, but you remembered Porn Chai. Anyway, keep going. So I just like...
It's like, whatever, 2 like weird white names. I don't know how to I don't know how to like or like assign them. I do remember Porn Chai.
I guess it's memorable.
But anyway, there's that like that commode, I don't know, whatever. There's like that
the lizard.
That reptile that falls from the sky. And anyway, Porn Chai says something like you don't have to be scared of them. They're going to like eventually become your friends. I don't know. There's some kind of messaging around that like throughout the show, her story is like, she's afraid of Gary this whole time, but by the end of it, she's like, has this like working relationship with him. You know what I mean? And kind of like her values. And then being that she has so much super ego in her type also, right? She's probably 6'9", 6'2" or something like that.
I think she's 6'9" too. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, right. Probably. With all the stress on her face. She has...
she's definitely 6. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. There's something around like, if we go back to the theme of ideology and like either sticking to it or like having them change by the end of the season, her ideology clearly changes, where she's not about like, oh, I'm not going to not take blood money and this guy killed her or whatever. She decides to just like get her bag and move on.
She becomes the reptile kind of thing.
And at the end of the season too, like she doesn't, at least I'm left with the impression that she's not even interested in starting a healing center. She's just like she's just like happy to be rich.
Like absolutely.
It's interesting, like knowing, Mike White is a 6 and self-pres blind, and this is like the most solid character. It's the underdog, first off, because it's the person that kind of slips around everyone's chaotic drama and stuff like that, but is like sort of impacted. And too, like when I hear you mention about like the reptiles and stuff, it's also like self-preservation. And so it's like, to be the most consistent character. So it's like these self-preservation linear kind of thing going on. And it's actually building, like her character and her lifestyle is sort of built and influenced throughout all 3 seasons and stuff like that, that it's there at the end, it's like actually being able to have a relationship with self-preservation, like I'm going to leave this person behind on the island, it's me and my family, and it's
that's
like
good.
This money
take care of myself.
I'm going to take care of myself and not care about like starting this idealized business and not having these like relationships influence my decisions and blah blah blah.
That's
like,
good. Yeah.
And it's maybe even just like a little of Mike White's like connection to that instinct, because like usually your blind spot feels like a weaker, more influential kind of thing, and so it's like she's gaining strength by the end of it, I think.
No, that's good.
That's an interesting perspective. It's weird because I thought the opposite almost. I thought like one thing about self-pres blind is like you're not seeing an expanse of time and the things that you've built, including your relationships. So as soon as she got the money, she's like, yeah, fuck you. Like, I don't give a shit. You know what I mean? She was just like, I'm going, she's not going to drop her own son, but it felt like she just dropped, like on some way, yeah, she got this but like she did, the self-pres isn't something she earned. She just like, it got dumped into her account.
Right. Okay,
and she just was like, fuck this island. I'm going.
Right.
You know what I
I'm
mean?
outta here.
In some way.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah.
Oof.
There's so many things too. I'm watching him talk about it and he's being all victim-y six about it. Like, people are being mean to me because like,
oh, really?
They're saying that they didn't like this and that. And like, I'm just like a small writer and whatever. But one thing he's like, I really hate when people like nitpick little things like about how the police would have showed up and all that. And I'm just like, because you're a self-pres blind idiot. Like the police should have showed up. There's so many things
funny.
that you did not think of, like, because the whole time I'm just like, so what? The FBI knows where Tim is, and they're like, let's just let him finish his vacation with his family. Like, we're not going to go.
Right.
We're not getting a hold of him, but it's not. He's on vacation. Just let him. Like,
turn off his
like,
phone.
no,
Nothing
like,
will happen.
there's a problem. Yeah, like they would be calling the hotel. I don't know. I don't really know how this works, but like, I don't think Mike does either. So.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah, there's also something to say too about him being social sexual, just like plugged in enough to like the social conversation around his show that he is like reacting to people being like, stop being so mean to my writing, or right? Like there's no like separation between like himself and the thing he's just creating. Like, it's just like stop.
Stop.
And
you're being so mean. It's just like, your sixes. Every sixes never
for critique.
It is. Yeah, no, and sixes are really bad at getting famous. They either drop out or they become like super evil. And because they can't deal with it, like Ellen DeGeneres or Jennifer Lopez, or like, she's such a sweetheart. Nope, she like abuses people behind the scenes. She can't handle all of this. It's too much,
Yeah, that's interesting. Oh my god, that would be so funny if Mike White went evil. That would be so funny.
It's only
it would
a matter of time.
It would be kind of hard to imagine because he's similar to what? Who's that? The guy that wrote? Oh my god, what's it called? What's he called? Another Stockholm Six. Lin-Manuel Miranda. That would be another one. Very funny, evil manifestation.
Yeah.
Of that type.
Yeah.